Welcome and thank you for joining our conversation today, in which Dewald Olivier of Red Meat Industry Services joins us to discuss how FMD and added market pressures are placing strain on the red meat sector. Keep in mind, this conversation will be published in 2 parts, so be sure to tune into part 2 on LinkedIn, YouTube, or on our podcast page at chickenfacts.co.za. Dewald, welcome and thank you for joining us. Tell us, how is FMD currently affecting the red meat sector, and how do you expect it will continue to affect producers and consumers until the disease is under control?
Well, Jennifer, foot-and-mouth disease is having a material and ongoing impact on the red meat sector, and its effects are felt from the farm gate all the way up into the consumer. From producers, FMD introduces uncertainty at multiple levels. Movement restrictions, disrupted marketing channels, increased biosecurity costs, and in some cases, forced delays because of slaughter and sales, and the fact that it's under quarantine. Even where animals are clinically unaffected, the regulatory and market constraints can translate into real financial stress and loss of confidence in some of the planning cycles. From a sector level, FMD undermines market access and competitiveness. Export disruptions and cautionary trade responses obviously is reduced and creates reduced opportunities to place product into higher value markets, placing additional pressure on the domestic market and the domestic margins. This is compounded by uneven capacity within state veterinary services and the reality that disease control takes time to implement effectively. And for consumers, obviously, the impact is far more indirect, but still very much significant. Supply disruptions, logical inefficiencies, and higher compliance cost can eventually contribute to price volatility and higher prices. So importantly, none of this have quick resolves, and until FMD is firmly under control, through coordinated vaccination, traceability, and surveillance, the sector will continue operating under constraints. This is why sustained investment in disease preparedness, no short-term crisis response, is essential. With regards to the sustained issues that we're having, and I think one of the biggest problems is the amount and the volume of vaccine coming into the country. We would like to see it come in much faster. We understand the constraints, and obviously, from a sector perspective, we do see that it takes time to bring the vaccine in. Obviously, it must be manufactured. It's not like a company somewhere sits and they manufacture millions of doses of vaccine and it's on their shelves. When there's a requirement or a need for vaccine, only then do they start to manufacture vaccines. So that's one of the issues. One of the other issues is obviously a great concern with regards to the rollout. And we're working on that together with government to ensure that rollout happens as effective as possible. And at the end of the day, we need to ensure that the vaccine gets into the animals, because it's all good and well that we transport it, we buy it, but it needs to get into the animals to be effective.
In terms of the Middle East and how that conflict has impacted South Africa, fuel costs and market pressures now compounding the issue of FMD in the red meat sector particularly. How do you think fuel shortages or at least rising transport costs will be affecting the sector? And what steps could help reduce the pressure on producers and the market?
Yeah, definitely. The rising fuel costs and obviously other costs accumulated or associated with that as well. The availability and rising transport costs, obviously, this places an additional strain on this, as you said, already pressured system, particularly with regards to logistics. I think if we just think about the transport of red meat, cooling of it and all of that, there's definitely more strain. Higher fuel costs affect every link in the chain that we have, and like most other products as well. Moving animals, transport, feed, operating abattoirs obviously is very, very intensive with regards to fuel and delivering product to market. These costs are all difficult for producers to absorb and often only partially recovered through prices, especially in constrained consumer environments like we have in the red meat industry. And the reduced I mean, the only way that we see to reduce the pressure, we think there's two ways in this and how this can be done. The one is obviously to improve operational efficiency. We can do this through including better route planning, smarter aggregation of loads, and reduce duplication in logistics. Now, that's all things that we can do from our side, and I think many of the loads running already fairly optimal in doing that. But still, these are not quick fixes for those who haven't done it, and incremental efficiency gains will compound over time. Then the second one, said there was two, we need to continue engagement with government on specifically infrastructure liability and reliability, and policy stability. Predictable fuel supply, functional transport infrastructure, and the regulatory certainty is not supposed to be luxuries. It's supposed to be a given, and they are definitely prerequisites for food security and sector sustainability. Where possible, local sourcing, decentralized processing, and improved data coordination can also definitely help shorten supply chains and reduce exposure to all these external costs and cost shocks that we're currently experiencing.
Keep in mind, this conversation will be published in 2 parts, so be sure to tune into part 2 on LinkedIn, YouTube, or on our podcast page at chickenfacts.co.za.